the cloud. Nice. All right. Okay. So just real quick before we talk about press releases, when you're sending out your press release to whomever, like Inside Nova or, the big website, InsideNova.com, or to a magazine like Haymarket-Gainesville Lifestyle, Warrington Lifestyle, or, The Atlantic, or whoever. Just, remember, to look at that magazine a couple times, few issues before you do that. And also to bear in mind who their audience is. So if you're pitching a humor piece to a place that never runs humor, you're wasting your time. But if you're pitching a book of humor that you just finished and you're a local author and you're in my area, so Haymarket-Gainesville Lifestyle, Haymarket-Gainesville, Bristow, Nokesville, I want to hear from you. So it's not that I don't have to have a humor column. You just have to be an author in the area that I cover. So just be sure, something about the outlet you're pitching to, like what they look for. Okay. All right. I'm going to share this. And this is a riot to me. Pam is so funny the way she does these things. Okay. So can you see it?
No.
No, that's not a good thing. Not yet. All right. Hold on. Here we go. Ready? Gonna try again. Come on, Suze. You can do this. Okay. Where is it? I need to go to advanced files. Let's try files. That doesn't look like it either. Basic. We'll go back to basic. Why? Okay. Okay. There it is. Hold on. All right. That's not it, but I'm getting there. I know, right? I'm like the worst.
That's funny. There we go.
How does she get out of bed in the morning, this one? Okay. Can you see it now?
We see your desktop and press release presentation on which you have not yet clicked, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
I did click it. Okay. It says I'm screen sharing.
Okay, so here's what I know from my foibles. When you share screen, you need to have the document open already, and it's like on your desktop, in my case. But
yeah, it is also open.
Okay,
yeah.
But then
there's
a place where you go, which opens up a whole new menu, usually on the right, where it says allow, I've forgotten the categories, but you have to also click there in order to share screen. So that might be the part that's missing. Maybe somebody just put it in the chat. Oh, there we go.
You got it.
You got it now?
Hot damn.
Okay, if I move up and down, can you follow with me?
Yes.
Oh, praise the Lord. Thank you very much, Nancy. Okay, so, Pam is so cute. The purpose of a press release, which we know, is to, get information out to an unrelated number of people, usually a bunch of people. Okay, so there are certain subjects that are appropriate for a press release, and Pam is hysterical. They have to be newsworthy, okay, and not boring. I'm like, okay. But in your case, you might just be announcing that you're a local author and you have a new book out, and maybe you're doing a book tour, or maybe your book is available at a certain bookstore. That is newsworthy. Particularly, you got to remember, everybody's looking for content. So you're not bothering anybody by sending out a press release, do it. Everyone needs content, and you need exposure. So, you get out there and you say, hey, I am, like right here, launching a new product. I am releasing a new book. It's coming out on this day. It's available at these stores, brick and mortar stores. It's available online. Or maybe I'm having a book signing event or a book reading. That's certainly newsworthy, especially when you're pitching it to a local magazine, and we want to cover and support local writers like yourselves. Pam is, she's cute. She's right. Keep it simple. Don't send it too often. Once every 10 days, like if you've got your stuff set up so that your promotion is happening, 3 months from now, you can send it out to us, like once a first time, then wait 10 days, then maybe wait another 10 days and send it out again. You're not harassing us. We want to cover it. We need the content just as much as you need the coverage. So this is important. She says here, get your press release to be read by the editor. All right, just make it easy for me. So what that means is make it compelling so I see why my readers will be interested in it. include, as much information as you can. The name of the book, your exact name, the exact name of the book, your exact name, who published it. If you've got a publisher publishing it, if you've self-published it, we need to know that. Please attach a copy of the book cover. Don't put it in the body of the email. Attach it as a separate attachment. The other thing you can do that's even safer as far as we're concerned is give us a link to your website where we can download the book cover. Because, a lot of times you bring in an attachment and maybe it's got a virus and you don't need that, nobody needs that. And the better you can share your story in the press release, the easier it becomes for us to cut and paste and immediately get it up on our Facebook pages, or in my case, InsideNova.com. In Pam's case, she puts things up on Fork Here Now. So the better you can write it so that we get it right away, what you're trying to say, the easier it makes it us to absolutely steal from your email, from your press release, and get it up there for you. So let's see. So in getting the press release noticed, so you're going to send it, as an email these days, obviously. So the subject line should be very compelling, and it shouldn't sound like a sales pitch. It shouldn't sound like spam. Just, make it sound interesting. And then send the body of the press release, like in the email itself. Put all of it in there so that all we need to do is cut and paste from your copy that you've sent us in the email. Does anybody have any questions so far? I know I talk fast. Okay, all right, as long as you're all right. And this is true too, if you can include like a keyword or a phrase, that makes it easier then for us to go on Facebook or if you send it to me, I have a very big Instagram presence, and I am always happy to use that presence for the people I profile in the magazine. It's not necessarily Haymarket-Gainesville's Instagram, it's mine. But I'm happy to do it. If you've got a catchy phrase and you've sent me a photo and you've sent me all the information, I'm happy to stick it out there. Why wouldn't I be? I'm an author just like you guys are. So Pam goes on to say here, include everything the editor needs. That's true. And I did just tell you that. And also include your contact information, because sometimes, lots of times, we'll see that, Catherine Goddard just got a great award. Well, that's great, and we want to share it, but we might also want to follow up and say, we'd like to do a feature on you and, talk about your life and why do you live here and whatever. So make sure you've got, accurate contact information in your press release. So Pam is right. Your headline and your subject line, these are very important. So when you've written your press release, you got to give us a headline, and it's important, and it's difficult to write, but as writers, you can do this. And as people who know how to use Google, and there are press release examples attached here at the end, so you'll have that. But you go out, you Google press releases, Google effective press releases, and just may not be your industry. That you may not be reading a press release about a book release, but pretty much, you can extrapolate what you need from those examples. Like, oh, I like how they set that up. That this is the launch of a pet food store and they're having a soft opening with a party and everything. Yeah, maybe there's some verbiage there that you can use that's exciting, and it will help you write the press release. Pam and I are big on please use a thesaurus. Please, make it interesting to the reader. Like don't keep using the same words over and over again. But you're a writer, that. So in general, make your first paragraph count, because a lot of times we're small magazines, but lots of times the big magazines, they are not going to read maybe past the first paragraph. So she's right. Use specifics here, it says. Instead of saying you made a wonderful profit, give a number. So a best-selling author, she's the best-selling author of this. Well, tell me exactly the title of the book. Best-selling where? Amazon, New York Times, USA Today. And how many copies did you sell? That's all great stuff. We want to know that. We can use that. And that helps you. Yeah, okay, quotes for credibility. Like if you got a quote from another author who's, you know, popular, or at least, you know, popular and well known in the genre within which you write, include it. You know, well, Susan McCorkindale, you know, famous for writing this book of whatever, says this book is terrific. You know, include that. So we have that also to use in our posts or in an article that we might write about you. Okay, now we're going to go into, because Pam is so funny, we're going to be looking at grammar and syntax and spelling and it's and there and there and there. I'm guessing you guys all know that, okay? So we're not going to belabor that, because for Pam, and she's right, like lots of times we work with writers and they're good writers. They can do it. They can convey this story, but still we go through it and it's like, oh my God, could you please use the proper, you know, you're here, you know, just so she gets into this stuff that I'm guessing you knows that. Oh, please don't use exclamation points, though. That's like a big no-no. Please don't do that. Okay, still we're in it now. It's possessive, a contraction. We're still in here. Okay, we're going to just go through this because we know this. You're and your, there. Okay. Ah, she's so funny. You know, though, in fairness to Pam, she wasn't presenting to a group of writers. She was presenting to a group of entrepreneurs. And let's face it, you know your business. You may not know exactly, you know, grammar and syntax and this stuff. So in fairness, they needed to know this stuff. Okay, photos. Like I said, put your body of your press release in the email, but please don't put images in the body of the email. We can't get them out. And if we can get them out, the resolution is so slow, so low that it doesn't look nice. You're like, you won't be happy if you see us showing your book cover, having pulled the image out of the body of an email. It'll look all greeny and dark and just, you know, no. So it's better to either attach them as an attachment to the email, or to send us to your website where we can download the book cover. And in high resolution, pretty please. Okay, so we also need to know, when it comes to the photos, we need to like a photo caption, you know, Catherine Gotthard, author of this poem book, sitting at open book in Warrenton, you know, with whoever, you know, we need to have a caption. And we also need to know who took the photo, believe it or not. So we need to be able to properly credit the photographer. So, oh, Pam's funny. I need both, and I don't want to chase them. She's so hysterical because she gets so angry. She has a million phone calls. Me, I'm like, oh, just to pretend that Catherine gave you the thing. No, I'm only kidding. The other thing is the press release itself, and she's sticky for this. Frankly, if you've interested me and I want to run your stuff, I'm not going to go nuts over this. But she likes, usually it's AP style. And again, of course, please remember, you're not just pitching me. So somebody else might want you to pitch them in the AP style, a single space after a period, don't use acronyms. You know, you can read all this, spelling out the numbers 1 through 9, you know, being aware of the spring, summer, fall seasons are in lowercase. This is all important, especially if you're pitching to somebody who's really a stickler about this stuff. So you want them to not delete or throw away your press release just because it doesn't look like you can write, which would really be a bad thing because you're a writer, you know. So she's continuing here. She's right about titles and lowercase and using doctor, MD, what have you. And I'm going to share this with you so I don't have to keep reading all of it to you, but this is all good advice. Links. Don't use too many links. Definitely use them that go back to your website. If you have like a link of an event that's live and they have footage of it, and you want to show yourself reading, that'd be awesome to share with me. Because then if I use that link, I can I can create a QR code and put it in the article. And then, you know, my reader can go like that and be right there seeing you read your book, which I think is very compelling, you know, for them to then say, oh, I might like to go, you know, read Nancy's book, or attend another speaking event, reading event that you're doing. Okay, so here's a crazy thing. This is a big, long link, all right? So Pam hates those, and I understand that. So she suggests that you shorten it to, find more information in the warrants and lifestyle section of FalkHereNow.com, which means I go to Falk Here Now, then I start looking around. I'm a fan of tiny URL. You can send me a tiny URL, and I'm good with that. I'll go there, I'll get what I need. I can do a QR code if I want to. I can, gather some more information if I need to. That's fine with me. I'm not sure that everybody's fine with that, but lots of people are. Statistics. See more statistics here. Okay, her point here is the anchor text is, see Kathy Haley speaking at open book here. So here is typed out and you link to the word here. That's considered anchor text, which, I didn't know that until Pam explained that to me. Anchor text. Yes, proofreading is very important. Please have somebody proofread your press release before you send it out. Read it yourself. Definitely read it out loud. It's just like your work. The best way to do that is always to read it out loud, right? And she's so funny. No one is off the hook because Pam just can't stand it if anything's got a typo or a misspelling in it. And I don't like it either. I just don't get so worked up because I'll fix it if I want to run it. But she wants people to read it for you, then read it again. After you make your edits, have people read it again. And of course, if you have the option to have an editor, a copy editor, look at your work, that's always a good thing to do too, especially seriously. You're going to send out a press release to the New York Times, the Atlantic, the Economist, whoever. Yeah, you might want to have a copy editor look that all over before that goes out. That's important. All right, one last reason to proof. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what she was referring to here. Maybe because these two stories on Cambridge News maybe came from a press release and wound up, I don't know, on the cover.
It's the title. They left their
100. They left that in there.
They left that in the heading. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I just saw that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Well, another good reason to prove things. Holy cow. That's not cool. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we have to prove things. So here she did provide two samples of press releases. This is for an event, a general event. You give all the information. This is for general news. So, I mean, if you're doing a book signing event, you could do something along the lines of this one, which is an event. You still, I think, would have to include, I'm doing this event, I'm signing books at the Barnes & Noble in Manassas. You still have to talk about who you are as the author and the name of your book and other book, maybe, how many books you've written. Was this a bestseller? Where, how? I would still include that there, even if you're promoting like a book signing event or a book reading.
Susan, can I ask a question?
Sure.
The three hashtags or pound signs, are they to
they just delineate, where it stops.
Where the press release stops and your personal information starts?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, like up here is the news. And that's right. It's like just a break and then, media contact, they can contact you. And then down here, if you're working, this is usually more for like a business. If I'm doing a press release for Pure Talk wireless company, and I'm talking about the fact that they now have, I don't know, iPhones from the new yellow iPhone or something. Then down here in the boilerplate, I would just simply say, Pure Talk Wireless is a subsidiary of Telluride Holdings located in Covington, Georgia, or something like that. It doesn't always exactly apply to writers. It can, if you would like to save your information and share it down there. Susan McCorkindale is the author of 4 books, 2 of which were Amazon bestsellers, blah blah blah. You could save that and put that there.
Susan, if Miss Susan could just back up what you just said about the 3 hashtags.
Sure.
I didn't know this, and like 20 years ago, I sent in an article about a conference that I'm doing, and I put my phone number and my name at the bottom and didn't know that. And they printed my home phone number in the newspaper, and it was a nightmare. So
Well,
whatever you have below the 3 hashtags is not going to be part of the press release. It's just for the,
that's right.
okay.
They should
Yeah,
not have
because
done that to you.
that was a nightmare.
I'm so sorry. No, we don't do that. We know better.
No, it wasn't your paper, and it was back in the 90s before there were email addresses, but you know,
That's terrible.
I had a bad experience. So just to let people know, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that's awful. Oh my gosh. You know, a good press release takes practice. It's worth doing if you want to, you know, practice. Honestly, I used to write press releases back in the day when I was like a copywriter full time, and I wrote press releases. Now I mostly read them, and I'll tell you that if you catch my attention, I will read your entire press release, and I will not take points off because you probably got excited and used the wrong your. I need content, and I want to be supportive. You know, I look at it as I'm a writer. This person has written to me. I'm not going to just toss it out. And also, I'm an editor. So if you're sending me a press release because you're opening a new hospice. All right. So, you know, you're not a writer. You're opening a new hospice. I want to share that information with my readers. So I'm not a huge stickler. If you've got me sucked in from the first sentence, I'm going to read it. And most likely you're either going to get, you know, posted on Facebook, Instagram, or I'm going to call you up and say, hey, you know, we'd like to do a feature on this. I'm not saying everybody is like that, but lots of people are. Lots of people aren't jerks, which is kind of nice. I don't know if you guys ever do like videos. My thing says Nancy Wyatt raised her hand.
I do have a question, but feel free to finish your thought before I ask.
No, I can't wait. I just was like, what is that?
Oh, the hard part is remembering to lower it. So let me do that right now.
Oh,
Yeah, going back several slides ago, I have a consistent problem, not just in press releases, but other kinds of writing. When we have the instruction not to use I or we, but it is something that only I did or only my company did. And
that's why
one of the ways I get around that is also a no-no, which is to use passive voice. So in this, if passive voice also is unacceptable, do we refer to to ourselves or our business in the third person, or how do we resolve that?
Okay, so I'm very sorry that I don't know this exactly. When I have written my own bio, I do it in the third person.
Right.
You know, so I would say the third person. And if anybody knows better right now, please jump in and cut me off.
Well, yeah, you write a press release as if you're writing the news story yourself. Not that if I'm writing a press release about my book that just came out, I don't say, hey, hi, I just published a book. You say, author, Manassas resident Marielle Stone just published her third book, blah, blah, blah. So it's like you write the news story for the person you're sending it to, right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
And in other kinds of writing, do you use the same kind of ploy, or how do you address that?
Well, that depends on the kind of writing. I mean, this is about press releases. So that's what we're talking about.
That's why I also think, oh, sorry.
No, I just said no problem.
That's why I also think it would be great, and I don't have it open, I don't have one here, but go out and read Google press releases and read how they're written, because Marielle is absolutely correct, and I should have said that. They're written as if they could just be picked up completely. That's, I guess, what I was trying to say by I can just cut and paste from your release then and run it, because it's already been written. So go read other people's press releases and see how they do it. It's really, it's not hard once you get used to it. I haven't done it.
I have done that, but not for years. And I always find it strange to refer to myself as Wyatt, because I'm so old school. It sounds so rude. We didn't used to do that, you know?
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and I do. I refer to
I'll
myself
get
as
over it.
McCorkindale. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Do you, any of you do any like social media marketing, online stuff? Okay, good. All right. So like, you know, just, you know, like when you're posting to Insta or Facebook or Twitter, to use the proper hashtags to, you know, research what those are and follow them and use them. And Susan, what were you about to say? Sorry.
It
just
happens
went
to
away.
the best of us, and I hear you are the best of us.
No,
go
that's
for
not
it.
true. I think specifically, all right. Sorry, guys, I had a thought and I know I had a good one and it's gone right now. And you know, to tag people too, right? And encourage them to respond and to chime in. So you guys get a dialogue going, because that's kind of important, you know, and remember, please, to like your own posts. That helps, you know, get it active in the search engine or whatever that stuff is. And whatchamacallit, when you release a new book, I hope you're all hooking up with friends who might have big lists. Maybe they do manage a hospice and your book is about, you know, finding joy in the everyday, no matter what life hands you. You know, hook up with that person and say, listen, I'll write something for you, and could you market my book to your list? And, you know, then just give them some text, give them the book cover, give them the link, and hopefully they do that for you, because the more people you can get marketing your book for you, I mean, you'll still have to, you know, it's a barter situation, but it helps move books, you know, move sales. And I think that's really important. That's something I didn't learn to do actually till my second book. I didn't realize you could do that. And finally I was like, wait, you know, my friend has an ad agency that he runs up in Stamford, Connecticut. And I was his copywriter for the longest time. I was like, wait a minute, we have some synergy here. This could work out. So I did finally do it, and it was very effective, you know. So I try to just remind writers of that when I think of it. And you know, to do like an Amazon book buying day, right? To shoot your sales up on a certain day. Okay, so that's easy enough to do. So you've got a book that's out and you want to see some action, or you have a book that's coming out. So you get online and you send out emails to all of your entire email list, and you say, I have a book coming out. It's called How to Be a Great Press Release Writer. And it's coming out, you know, on March 12th. Please don't buy it yet. It's available for pre-order, but please don't buy it yet. I'm asking you all please to buy it on March 15th. March 15th is my Amazon buying day. If you get out there on March 15th and you buy my book, if we all do it the same day, it'll shoot the book up in the rankings. And with any luck, I'll get to be like in the top 10, 15, 20, 25, even 50 of press release books or whatever those writing books are. Like I did it and I wound up in the top 10 for memoirs for like that day. And half the next day, my book was right near Tina Fey's Bossy Pants. That was awesome. You see that? You see that face? That's a great feeling. Okay. And I can always say, my boss was near Tina, my book was near her boss book, whatever, for like, you know, a whole day and a half. And I can say, I'm an Amazon best-selling author. I did it. And that's not so shabby. So, you know, you just get out there ahead of time. You do your email, you do your Facebook, you got a blog, you tell your friends, here's the book, here's what it's called, here's when it's coming out. And, you know, if you can, maybe it's on Kindle, maybe it's in paperback, maybe it's hardcover, you give them as much information as possible. And you say, pretty please, go buy a copy on this particular day. And then you keep refreshing your Amazon feed and you can watch what's happening to your book. It's very cool. And then the next day when it's all over, you follow up with, thank you so much. You made my whole day, and you know how long it takes to write a book. It was so worth it. I got to see it climb to the top 10 in its category. And then, you know, you've kind of like awakened the big giant that is Amazon as well. So they might actually see what's happening and then stick your book into, the emails that they do, recommendations for you. That happens, so it happened for me. So it's it's a cool way to get traction for your book. I'm a big believer in the online stuff. I like social media marketing. It's a lot of work, but I think it's worth doing.
Susan, with the Amazon buying days, so this is funny because with my children's book, I did that accidentally. I didn't know that everyone was going to buy it around the same day, and it hit #1, and it was amazing. It was like the accidental success.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but it was exactly what you said. But I guess my question is can you do an Amazon buying day like kind of whenever, or do you think like you have to work it around like a new book?
Nope. Let's see. I did one for the first anniversary of my first book. I said, hey guys, Confessions of a Counterfeit Farm Girl came out a year ago, and I'm still a fake farm girl. I'm still stuck on this stupid farm. Let's all buy another book in celebration of my stupidity. And then you also say things like, come on, you guys have read the book, but have your friends read the book? Tell your friends about the book. Buy a copy for your friend. It makes a great teacher's gift. Oh, a hostess, whatever it makes, right? Like you wrote a book, Get Happier, damn it. That's your book? Okay.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, that's a great stocking stuffer. That's a great gift to give to your therapist. It's a great gift to give to your kid's principal or the counselor at the school or the coach. So think of what are the reasons to buy the book a year after it's out. Okay. And definitely do it. Definitely do it. Yes. My second book came out right after my husband passed away. And once since then, I did an Amazon book buying day on I think maybe it was like the second anniversary of his death. So it was like 2 years after the book came out. But so you just need to come up with really cool reasons, verbiage. It's another way to market your book.
If I could interject, another approach to that is, for example, when I wrote a book, which was a collection of monologues that had been performed about homelessness, addiction, and AIDS, I had no marketing plan. I just stuck it out there, and it's out there. But what I could do is to realize, as has been the feedback from Jan Rail and everybody else who read it, that there are people who actually need to read it, and they are police, first responders, hospital, ER people, all those kinds of things. So if I had been smart, or were to in the future to be smart,
okay,
I could find out those organizations and do what you're talking about, sending them emails, prepping the ground, so to speak, and then have a day when they could buy it. So if you recalculate your audience, might be another excuse, is my point.
Absolutely, you're right. You shouldn't give up. If you know that those groups are there, have you approached like the Mental Health Association, the local arms and the local police? That's a press release, or that's just maybe a nice letter with a copy of the book.
Right.
Like, maybe you ask if you could come in one day and do a reading and make books available for them to purchase. But
Exactly. And another thing is to do a reading, which I did for 1 or 2 of the scripts, and post it on YouTube. And that also might be another way in which to draw folks in.
And in your letter, you should give those people the link to you doing that.
Oh, cool. I hadn't thought. Thank you.
Yeah, because you want to come in and see them, let them see you doing it for somebody else.
Right.
You don't give up on your book. If you're working it out now, who the audiences are, it's not too late. Go do it. You worked hard on that book.
I did. The only problem with that is I don't want to be known for that, since I've never been addicted nor had AIDS. And I have so many other things that I do. So, but it is a worthwhile cause, especially with what's going on in our country in terms of addiction and homelessness and so forth. So it will be worth another shot once I get back to it.
Sure.
For the ideas.
Of course. You got to do it. I'm going to stop my screen sharing. I just realized it's still sitting here. There we go. Sorry, guys. Clearly, I don't usually run the meeting, so.
I have a question, Susan. If this is a little bit personal, but I feel like because of your experience, maybe you can answer it. So my poetry collection, which is my first book that came out, is dedicated to my daughter who we lost in a car accident. And so not all the poems, but some of the poems are related to that.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But like, I feel weird, you know, like using that as marketing, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't sit right with me to put that out there, that's, I mean, I think the book does maybe help people who are dealing with grief, but like, I don't want to say that. I mean, what's your advice, I guess, is, you know?
Okay, so I gave a TEDx talk at TEDx Tyson's in November of 2019 on grief. And I am the first person to believe that I feel strongly that when we share what we've been through, obviously it's not the same, but it does make other people feel less alone. And I don't know who is torturing me, please forgive me. It does make people feel less alone. You know, they're not the only ones in this position. And it doesn't, you know, anoint you as a grief expert. You know,
well, the book definitely, I mean, like, I definitely have that intention in the book, that if writing these poems helped me to deal with grief, then they are likely to help someone else who's dealing with grief. But I'm just saying, I don't feel comfortable putting that in a press release. Am I wrong to not?
Oh no, if you're not comfortable with that, you're not wrong. That's you. That's all up. That's up to you. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with.
I don't want people to think I'm trying to capitalize on my daughter's loss to sell books. That's, you know.
All right. No, I understand that. And I guess that's a real fear. Because you feel that way. So don't do anything that makes you uncomfortable.
Thank you.
You know, you're welcome.
I will watch your TED Talk though. I'd like to do that.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, my new book is all about resilience as it pertains to grief, and just you know, making peace with your grief, and you don't ever move. You know, you move on with it. It goes with you. That's just it. You know, that it's forever with you, and that's okay. That's a good thing. And so that's
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Again, I'm sorry to chime in, but when I was working, I spent about 7 years going to drug addict meetings in DC as a guest. And that is what those monologues are about. And I know, Kathy, I think you're feeling like you don't want to feel like you are exploiting that. It's not just what other people think, it's you feel like you are. And I had the same kind of qualms about telling these people's stories. But the fact is, we've helped hundreds of people, if not thousands. And each of those people who benefited from it in that core group has become literally a spiritual leader in their own community, helping literally thousands of other addicts and people with AIDS and so forth. Wow. So the ripple effect goes way beyond you. If you know the value and the authenticity of your own motivation, then maybe that will help you overcome that, so you can be a blessing to all those people who need to hear what only you have been able to say for them.
Thank you.
She's right. That's good stuff to think about, Kathy. Nancy's right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
The other thing is, Kathy, so one of my first children's book, the illustrator lost her daughter at age 2. And in her, and she has the same issue, right? Obviously, that's not something she wants to promote. So she actually has it in her bio that, you know, who lost her daughter in a tragic accident. And when you're writing it in third person, it comes out less markety and more of context. So just throwing that out there. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but
yeah, thank you. Definitely.
The other thing you could do, Kathy, is don't write it yourself. You know, like you guys all write together. Maybe Catherine would take a stab at it for you one day, or, you know, Marielle or Nancy, like let somebody else draft it. And then you see then how you feel about it and you edit it.
Thank you.
Nancy's got a good point though.
Susan, can I ask you to touch on advertising for authors? Because so as we all know, like advertising can be expensive, but
Yes.
Maybe give me a little bit of information on that and what works, what doesn't in your experience, and how you can look at advertising.
All right. So if you're going to advertise, because it is expensive, you have to really pay attention to your timeline. It's not like social media where you can get in there and change it and update it right away. So if you're going to advertise in a monthly magazine, and that magazine comes out on basically between the 1st and the 5th of every month, you want to be promoting an event that is, or a book signing or a release that is safely later in the month. Okay, so, you know, if you know you're going to be releasing a book at a certain time, or you're going to be releasing the book, and then, you know, you want to include maybe like, here's the book, and I'm going to be signing books at these stores. You know, get your bang for your buck, include the name of the stores, the dates, and the times you're going to be there, you know, but make sure you know when the magazine's coming out, because if the magazine's not coming out until the 15th, it's March 15th, and your event is March 17th, there's a tremendous possibility that readers won't have it in time. You don't want to waste that kind of money. Now, that's print. You can always advertise online with the super huge websites. Like InsideNova.com is an enormous popular website. And they will, I am clueless as to how they do their bundles, but you know, you can have a banner ad, you can have this spot, you can have that spot, and it'll rotate throughout the day. And that's really effective, because then a person can click on that and go right to your website, or right to maybe a page you've set up on Facebook with all of the information. You know, that's very worthwhile. That kind of advertising, online advertising, very worthwhile.
Yeah, I would think that the SEO value by itself would be amazing for something like that, like a banner ad. And
yes, I would. Yes. And you know, yeah, you need it for the SEO. That's true. And you want, you know, people to see it. You want butts and seats. You want to sell books. You know, word of mouth is great. You get them in there, and they go out and they say, "I just got Catherine's new book. This is wonderful. You need to get it too." I mean, that's like, I love that. You know, that means a lot when somebody else says to you, "You should get this book." But yeah. What else can I answer? I'm not the best answerer.
I think this has been great. Can you tell me a little bit about your TED Talk? Like, how did that come about, and what did that do for your writing career?
Okay, so my TED Talk came about because I put it out to the universe that giving a TED Talk was on my bucket list. And I never told anybody until one day I told a couple of my very, very, very close girlfriends. And then I got this new job, being the editor for Haymarket-Gainesville Lifestyle, but also being the editor for the Business Voice, which was a publication we did for the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce. And in that magazine, we had this section dedicated to focusing on nonprofits. So we would pick a different one with each issue. So they picked TEDx Tyson's, which is a nonprofit. So I assigned the writer, who happens to be one of my dear friends. She's a great writer. She writes the feature, and she comes back and she goes, "Did you read it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was excellent. I changed a couple of things, whatever." She goes, "Did you read it?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, they're having an open mic night. They're letting people compete for one spot at TEDx Tyson's in 2019. So that's what happened. I read it. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to do that. She was like, "Yes, you are." I sent in my idea. I got picked to be one of 100 people that they selected to come in. So we all had to go into this theater. And when we were there, only 50 of us would be picked by number out of this rolling drum. So they've got all your number. Yeah, Ariel, you're getting it. They've got all your numbers in this drum. And they pick 50 out. And those are the 50 who get to get up and make, I think it was a 2-minute pitch. Maybe it was 3 minutes. I think it was a 2-minute pitch. And I got picked. My number came up. And I made my pitch and I won. That's how I got to do that. I won. Thank you. It was exciting.
That is amazing.
It was amazing.
It's like America's Got Talent type thing, right?
It was really incredible. It was an incredible experience. And then they gave me a coach. She worked with me every single week, a couple of times a week. She helped me craft my entire talk, which wound up being still the foundation was there, but way different than the way I thought I was going to approach it. It was a sensational experience. And then there was the event itself, which was fantastic. And there were all these speakers that they brought in from all over California, New York, all these places, and me. It was so great. It was really probably one of the most fantastic experiences all the way around of my entire life.
That's awesome. I have a question about the coach and her guidance for you. You said that it ended up much different than you thought. Is there any advice you took from that you are continuing to apply to things you write or speak about?
I always remember that I should call her before I go to speak and run it past her so she can improve it, okay? That I remember. And I try to remember that, there's really always more than one way to tell a story.
Sure.
I was going, but also though, they want you to tell a story. And my story was not, it had the germ of something that could be good, but it wasn't good yet, not at all. And she made it a great story. And she told me, see this? She told me how to tell it. She would be like, this is when you have to do this. She was like, come on, Susan, you have all this energy. This, you need to do, and then this. She goes, you're really funny, use your eyes. So there's more than one way to tell a great story. And I guess just put your whole self in it. Yeah, that was awesome. And so then the pandemic hit and there went my speaking career. Oh, well.
But also it brought you a lot of people who needed to hear about grief. So hopefully that took people to the website or whatever that you had it published on.
Hopefully it did. It's gotten a lot of views, many likes out there on YouTube. So it's been very fulfilling, and people leave me nice notes
Great.
out there, it was a great experience. Absolutely great.
Susan, for the audience that's going to be on recording, what is your website address?
It's SusanMcCorkindale.com, SusanMcCorkindale.com.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you all. It's
Great.
been nice to talk with you.
Oh, it was great hearing about this. This is really good information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. I will send Catherine the presentation. I have some social media tips that I drafted. They were leaning toward, videos. I used to do a lot of video as it pertained to my book, or as it pertained to snippets of my book that I would share with people. But I'm going to send that to you as well, because maybe it'll give you some help. I don't know, hopefully. But I wish you all good luck.
Thank you.
Writing is like, it's tough.
You could probably stop recording.
Okay, I can stop recording. Hold on, wait. I know, I'm such a spaz. Look at this. I'll pause, stop. Yes, I'm positive.